Knick fans, finally, welcome to another episode of Delusional Knick Fan Network, where we bring you that Knicks content that you need. Ladies and gents, the Knicks have brought me out of retirement. They have fired head coach Tom Thibodeau. Thibs been with the Knicks for the last 5 years, starting in 2020, bringing the Knicks to relevancy, winning 4 out of 5 seasons during that time period, bringing them to the playoffs each year, and progressing each year. With this final year of bringing the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Final, literally just 2 games away from the NBA Finals, and Leon Rose decided to pull the plug. Complete shock, but totally understand from my point of view of why. I'm technically 60-40 on the matter. 60% of firing Thibs, the 40% of keeping him. I'll start with the 40. That 40% is he changed the organization. He brought relevancy in being a Knicks fan. He brought structure at a time period. He brought his defensive scheme and demeanor to a team that needed a facelift. And Thibs was the proper guy. With him winning Coach of the Year when he came over here, similar to what he did in Chicago, going over there, changing that organization around, becoming Coach of the Year. But then, of course, making it to the playoffs each year, but unable to get to the promised land, which is to the NBA Finals. And that happened again. He did that with the New York Knicks, and Leon Rose said it's finally time to cut ties. 5 years. Why? Because he wants to bring a championship to the Knicks. But like I stated, that 40% changed it, brought relevancy, defensive identity, back-to-back 50-win seasons for the Knicks. That haven't had it happen in probably over a decade. Fourth in the all-time Knick record of winning. Thibs has won 226 games with the Knicks out of 400. That's with 147 losses, which are winning percentages of 5.65. The next coach that comes in line with that, as you'll see, was probably Mike Woodson, and that was in a shorter time period. But Coach Thibs has been efficient with my Knicks. But then, of course, it's the 60%, which the 60% for me speaks loudly. First is the bench utilization, right? Everyone was saying that we don't have nobody productive on the bench. That's complete, bull. We had players, I believe, that could have helped and assist in the regular season, to not necessarily keep the guys fresh, because when you saw, the guys were pretty much fresh. We pretty much had the healthiest team in the NBA, but it was more so the repetition with certain players, that so when they do get the opportunity, so when Brunson got hurt or when other players got hurt and we needed to insert players, it wasn't cohesive. It didn't look right. Certain offices didn't look right. But then when we did brought in Dylan Wright during the regular season when Brunson got hurt, he showed that he can ball. A big point guard that could defend and knock down shots when needed to, and pass. But most importantly, defend. And we needed that during the playoffs. We actually needed that a little earlier, but Thibs decided to do that late when his back was against the wall. And that's his in-game adjustments. That's another thing with Thibs. Thibs' in-game adjustments are late. You will see them come in the fourth quarter, or you will see that in the next game. You won't see that happen in the first game. He will make the adjustments in the second game. Certain time periods where I'm like, okay, why are we in drop covers, guys? Let's go to a switch in certain possessions. You see they constantly running high pick and rolls. Let's stop that. You haven't seen that, with Thibs. And that's ultimately one of the biggest reasons where you need a coach that's able to adjust in game. Now, they say, yes, he made adjustments later on, which got us wins. But look, we were already down 2-0 at that matter when he finally made adjustments. And yes, that adjustments were very critical for us to win. He went to pressing Halliburton instead of being in that, the drop coverage. When you press, now they're not getting the ball and scoring literally 2 seconds left off the clock. Now they're in a half court setting where it's 17, 16 seconds, maybe 15 seconds left in the clock. And then now they have to work in the half court setting. You took away half of Halliburton's power when you do that. But I stated that we should have done that from jump before the series started. Why did Thibs wait to do that in game 3? Right? That was my thing. Why wait late to see these adjustments? Now, granted, game 1 we were playing well. It wasn't until literally the last 2 minutes of the game, last 3 minutes of the game, where we lost it. I don't put that on Thibs. Maybe we could have fouled. Maybe we could have, for me, when I'm up, if I'm up more than 6 or more than 3, and it's 2 minutes left, and they're going on a run, I'm fouling. I would rather that 2 than that 3. That's just me. I'm not a head coach, but I've seen this in situations, or even in the Boston series when we lost during the regular season. We asked Thibs. We were up. Right? You foul, go to the free throw line. Knicks win the game. Of course, Knicks did not foul while they were up. Tatum came, splashed the 3. Boom. Overtime. We lost in OT. So these are things that occur under Thibs. It's his game adjustments, Then, of course, while we're up 30 with the starters, Thibs won't put the bench in. He would literally milk it out. Thibs, we're up 30. 2 minutes left. Like, granted, yes, teams could go on a run, but if they go on a 10-0 run and then it's 40 seconds left, you're still up 20. Come on. These are little things. And then, of course, I stated before, ultra late in-game adjustments, which kind of cost us a lot during the regular season and during the playoffs. But this was a complete shock. It's a real complete shock with Thibs. This is what I wanted to kind of bring up is his record. These are the coaches that we had previously before Tom Thibodeau. As you can see, Thibs for the 5 years. Mike Miller, David Fizdale, Jeff Hornacek, Kurt Rambis, Derek Fisher, Mike Woodson, Mike D'Antoni, Isaiah Thomas. These are all players, all coaches, excuse me, that we've had. Short tenure. We've never really kept anyone longer than 5 years. In these last couple of years with having these head coaches. Look at Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni with having 288 games. Mike Woodson only 188 games. Mike Woodson went 109 for 79. That was a solid record for us in those 3-year time period. And I believe it was a half a year for Mike Woodson. I don't think he completed the full 3 years. I think it was like 2.5. Mike D'Antoni with 4 years still only had 121. Thibs by far 226. Was crazy. It was crazy wins. Like we were guaranteed to win certain games with Thibs. It's not the case right now. But there's certain clips that I do want to bring up, which kind of solidifies and back up my saying with Coach Thibs on pretty much not why he's here, but why he got fired, and it makes complete sense. I want to pull this up real quick, and this is Jeff Teague talking about Thibs.
But Thibs, the way he coached offense is old.
Yeah.
Like, his style is old.
He think he still got D Rose, bro.
Yeah.
Dude, bro.
I mean, he got Jalen Brunson.
Nah,
Yeah.
he do, but D Rose was different.
Yeah, bro.
For sure.
He was different.
Damn.
He's still running the same plays, that same post-up zoom. I forgot what it's called. He's still running that same post-up for Cat. Like, he just got to change. You got to play faster. They play so half-court, slow, ISO.
He got the athletes to do it.
Or it's a pick and roll. Everything goes back into a pick and roll with Jalen Brunson. Like, he'd throw the ball to the wing. He come back, pin down, right into a pick and roll for Jalen Brunson. It's like, man, if you ain't learned anything about the league, go look how Steph Curry plays and other people play when you got a scoring guard like him. They play off the ball. They set pin downs and back screens and shit and get other people a lot of layups.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you see how many layups Draymond Green and other people used to get playing with Steph Curry?
Got to use him as a...
And they didn't use that recipe at all this series.
Yeah.
No, so it's basically Thibs, the offensive coordinator.
Pretty much, if they was going to keep him. But we know that wasn't the case. But yeah. So I am with the organization on kind of getting rid of Thibs. I do not know who they want to utilize next and go to. But I will say this. I would say this. Right? We got to bring up the main thing. I would say this. Right? Leon Rose would not fire Thibs if he don't have someone in mind already. I truly believe he has a head coach already prepped and prepared and ready. They're going to do their due diligence to sit there and hire coaches, go through that process. But he already knows who he wants. He knows. Him and West, these guys are connected. None of the information gets out unless they want to. Look at the Cat trade coming when it did. Look at the Mikal trade coming when it did. I have faith in Leon, to be honest with you. He has way more hits than he has misses. You know, way more. You know, with the Cam Reddish trade, you know, that's one of the trades where it's just like, all right, put it behind us. But then also we were able to get Josh from that situation. Right? We brought in Dante. You know, the draft picks and the maneuvers, obviously that's Brock Aller, but we were able to maneuver, get some pieces, great draft. You know, he brought these people into play. You know, he the one that went and bought the medical team over from Dallas. The top dude brought him here. Knicks one of the healthiest team. They even won best medical staff this year. I have faith in Leon. I do. But the next coach is definitely going to have a lot to deal with because we're right there. We're trying to bring in the Brinks trucks of bringing those championships in for us. I don't know what head coach they're going to utilize, but I'm ready. I think the organization is ready. I think the city is ready. And I don't think we could have done that with Tom Thibodeau, to be honest with you. So it makes sense for them to pull a trigger now, then wait later on. Especially with them trying to make additional moves as well. You know, utilize the bench, you know, with the bench players that they brought in or going to bring in rather. Use Cat in a different offensive style. Maybe bring Mitch into the 5, Cat at the 4. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, there were issues. There were issues. You had the Mikal situation where he said he had a meeting with Thibs. Thibs said that they never had a conversation about minutes. Then, of course, it was Opie Toppin where we got the audio of him going at Coach Thibs saying he's a horrible coach, right? Then it was Dante barking at Thibs when he came back from the Minnesota. You know, so there's instances that occurred. I don't want to add the fact that with Josh Hart and Thibs had the argument on the bench. I figure like their relationship it's good to the point where that didn't affect anything. I didn't see that as anything. But these are instances that occurred. So yeah, just to kind of end it all, let's see what the Knicks do. Let's see what happens. What coach, what direction they go in. I don't know. Is it Johnny Bryant? I'm hearing Mike Malone definitely is not a candidate. Can it be Jay Wright from Nova? I wouldn't want to bring him in because is that another favorite? Maybe not, but I heard he's a hard-nosed coach as well. I don't know what direction to go in. Mike Budenholzer, I don't know. He's won a chip, but do I really see him? I have no clue. No clue in the direction the Knicks is going, but I'm here for it's going to be an interesting summer. And I hope my delusional fans are here to ride with me because I'm back. Deuces.
Did Brandon do that?
You gon' do it if I say so. I'ma do it for the pesos. I fell in love with the bass load. I fell in love with the bass load. I see the ops staying plain clothes. I see the ops y'all in plain clothes. I fell in love with a waist load.